Amelia Dyer is credited as one of the most prolific murderers in British history. Operating as a baby farmer in Victoria, England, Dyer was hanged in 1896 for just one murder, although there's little doubt that she is responsible for many more. She first trained as a nurse and a midwife. However, in the mid-1860s, Dyer began working as a baby farmer, a lucrative trade in Victorian-era England. Finding a baby farmer at the time was as easy as picking up the local newspaper. At the time, the Poor Law Amendment Act of 1834 made it so fathers of illegitimate children were not obliged by law to support their children financially, leaving many women without options. For a fee, baby farmers would adopt the unwanted children. Baby farmers operated under the ruse that the child would be taken care of, but more often than not, the children were mistreated and even killed. Ms. Dyer herself assured clients that children under her care would be given a safe and loving home. Initially, Dyer would let the children die from starvation and neglect. Mother's friend, an opium-laced syrup, was given to quiet these children as they suffered through starvation. Eventually, Dyer resorted to faster murders, which allowed her to pocket even more profit. Dyer eluded the authorities for many years, but was eventually arrested when a doctor became suspicious of the number of babies dying under her care. Dyer was only charged with neglect and sentenced to 6 months hard labour. Dyer learned from her initial conviction. When she returned to baby farming, she did not involve physicians and began disposing of the bodies herself to avoid any added risk. She also relocated frequently to avoid suspicion and took up the use of aliases. Dyer was eventually apprehended when an infant's body recovered from the Thames was traced back to Mrs. Thomas, one of Dyer's many aliases. When authorities raided Dyer's residence, they were apparently overcome with the stench of human remains, although no bodies were found. Several more babies were recovered from the Thames, each with white-edged taping still wrapped around their necks. Dyer was later quoted as saying about the white tape, "That was how you could tell it was mine." Dyer was tried at the Old Bailey in March 1896. She used insanity as her defence. It took a jury less than 5 minutes to reach the verdict, guilty. She pleaded guilty to just one murder, but using estimates based on timelines and years active, she likely killed between 200 to 400 children. On Wednesday, June the 10th, 1896, just before 9 a.m, Amelia Dyer was hanged. Because the murders occurred during the same period, some believe that Amelia Dyer and Jack the Ripper are one and the same, and that Ripper's victims were actually botched abortions committed by Dyer. There is little evidence to back this theory.